What's an instant clothing turn-off for you when looking at the opposite sex? Does heavy ass cologne count as clothing? They basically put it on like a wetsuit layer. I hate all ass colognes. Colons. Live in the UK. Those pants that have that quote juicy written on the bum. What? Are the early 2000s just hitting the UK or something? I thought those were long gone. They are still around, just mostly seen on white trash types now. What do you mean now? That's what wore them in 2002 as well. Caps with the circumference set too small, so it just sits on top of the wearer's head. I don't understand how this is a thing, but it is. A taller head is used to ward off predators. And mates, evidently. Tija print stuff makes me think of 50 wild trailer park women. The first time I came home with leopard print lingerie, my husband kindly told me that everyone he knew that wore animal print stuff was batshit crazy, and it was a complete turn off for him. I agree with your husband. Little known fact, if you wear any pants with words on the ass you gain 350 pounds instantly. JUICY, I don't want any of that juice. RSSWTER. Ed Hardy and basically anything bejazzled. I think it's bedazzled, but I like your word better. Fun fact, vajazzling is apparently a thing. Those badass shirts, like the ones you find on r/IamVeribidus. The oddly specific "I was born during a tornado in July of 1977, while Lynyrd Skynyrd screeched in the background. Do not fuck with me. /r/target headshots is what you need. Those claw-like fake fingernails. Wait, that's not clothing. Carry on. It counts, Imo. Jeans that drag on the ground. The kind that have seen such tragedy that they have holes worn through from constantly being stepped on and dragged across the rough ground. Used to be a style that will come back eventually. I never understood what was so cool about JNCOs that looked like they had 6 inches of water damage after a flood. I used to wear those as a kid. Then one day, an old redneck man asked me, "Son, did you used to have really fat legs?" I never wore them again after that. Bless that man. Shirts that are tight, so tight that the buttons near the tummy may pop out. Tank top screaming, "Lotto, I don't fit you." You see how far those white jokes get you. Those dresses that don't taper at all, so it kind of looks like a big windsock. You mean t-shirt dresses? You mean hospital gowns? Jeans that don't fit a man's ass, that is, when they are slip sliding down to their knees. No thank you. Joke's on you, I don't have an ass. Joke's on you, I'm an ass. Joke's on me, I eat ass. Ass on you, I'm a joke. I live in FL, so I nothing salt life. Every time I see that decal on the back of a car, it always looks like it says slut life at first glance. Sleeveless hoodies. My ex had one. He also had extremely hairy armpits. Don't know why he wouldn't just get rid of it. Is your ex bilbiligic? I've noticed this a lot recently. A poorly fitted suit on a man. Particularly if the jacket is ill-fitting in the shoulders or waist, or if the pants are too short. Not saying every guy needs to drop thousands on a custom tailored suit, but at least find one that fits well, or take it to a tailor for small/cheap alterations. I like to call that luck I got a court date, so I went to Goodwill. Fedora. Amazing how once upon a time fedoras were worn by mafiosi and beatniks. Now they are worn by incels. Belly hanging out from the bottom of the shirt that isn't long enough mostly has to do with fat people like me. No, tall men who aren't shopping in the right store also have this problem. Too much of jewelry. What do you consider to be too much? For me, as a guy, I'd feel like I was wearing too much jewelry if I had more than 3 items on. Everyone has different perspective. I prefer to wear nothing made of metal. It's too much for me, lol. Are you a druid? No, probably a mistborn or misting. Those tanks with the massive armholes. Ike. In England, tanks have a kettle, so the crew can make tea without getting out. Not so much clothes, but an orange looking fake tan. I've seen so many women walking around like they are hot shit looking like an Oompa Loompa. I once was about to tell a woman that she was overdoing her full pancake macup. Then I noticed she was actually hiding a large facial port wine birthmark. I learned not to comment on things like that from that incident. Wife beaters. Very hard to pull off. Crocs. Just can't. Way too baggy trousers. I don't want to see 3 inches of your boxers in public. Wife beaters are only good for gym and undershirt. And beating your wife, of course. Men. Ill-fitting clothing, especially suits and Guy Fieri sunglasses, fine on Guy, obviously. Honestly, Guy Fieri is the only man who can pull off his look. Sagging pants. You look like a toddler with a full diaper. Can't speak for turnoffs, but if you ain't wearing socks and Crocs then we ain't fucking. You mean my big rubber masturbating shoes? Huge plastic nails. Skin-colored leggings. The ones that make you do a double take, because you think for a second they're naked from the waist down. Those weird sharp-eaten eyebrows that women wear these days. I'm just confused by this trend. Call me old-fashioned, but I like my eyebrows made of hair. I shouldn't have read this thread. Now I feel ugly with my loose clothing. It's comfortable. My friend was recently saying the same, but then I reminded him he's married, and thus has pretty much reached the fashion endgame. All he has to do is have one kid and suddenly he's dadcore. Feather boas. Hulk Hogan pulled off a feather boa way better than any woman ever will, and honestly, you're just shooting yourself in the foot by inviting the comparison. I've never seen a woman wearing a feather boa in the wild. That thing is exclusive for Halloween stuff or 20s costumes. Dudes wearing pants below there, but so their underwear is showing.